Good afternoon and welcome to the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms weekly live stream. It just reminded me myself as I said that we've been planning to rename the show for months and haven't done it. So if you have a good name for the show, please let us know in chat. My name is Dylan, and I am coming to you live from the quickly becoming much colder streaming closet at Codename Entertainment in beautiful Victoria, BC, Canada. Beautiful, rainy, wet, autumn Pacific Northwest, Victoria, BC, Canada. Shout out, as always, to our moderator and co-producer Sasha and our executive producer Erica for helping keep the show going. Thanks to D&D for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. It is and always be an honor to be here. And I have a guest who deserves an introduction, and I'm trying to think of an introduction that talks about myself instead of him. It's not coming up with anything super improvised at the moment. I have been enjoying a little extra added anxiety this year, as I'm sure many of you are, given the state of the world. Pandemics and politics and all those things. And I was like, hey, will somebody join me on stream to help me relax? And I put out the call in the C&E chat, and what can I say? Shawn to the rescue. Welcome, Shawn.
Hello. Ooh, super low here. We can do for a name for the stream. 3 streamers in your trench coat.
3 streamers in a trench coat. Just gonna make you a little bigger there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Yeah.
More adequate size. Yeah, and I'm gonna buy the upgrades so I can pay less attention to what's going on in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, this is anxiety time for sure. So hopefully I'm here to make it better.
Yeah, I appreciate that. There's it's not something that I would say that I'm normally prone to.
Mm-hmm.
I had a rough year last year and a bit the year before in the lead up to Catherine and I having our first baby.
I can imagine.
And so there was a lot, there was that kind of thing. But this is more like just like kind of like tweaked all the time, at least a little bit. And as a person of color, mixed race heritage, whose family is Hawaiian and split between Hawaii and Texas, strangely enough, I would like to be able to go visit my other family. Like I'd like to go visit them, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. Certainly, one result in the U.S. election will lead to that being easier than the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the most I'm going to go on to that subject. But yeah, I'd very much like to see them again and introduce my siblings to their niece. So
that's exciting. Do you have a family in Texas and in Hawaii?
Yes, yeah, I have 2 sisters in Texas right now. My sister Savannah and Leilani.
How many siblings do you have?
My dad was prolific.
Oh no.
He and my mom were together for me, but didn't stay that way. And he had another family. My mom had another family. She only had one more child, but he had 5 more.
Wow.
5 more? 6 more? 5 more. Yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah. So three brothers and 2 sisters on that side, and then a sister on my other side as well. But they all kind of look like me, like, strong genes from my dad's side, I guess. So, yeah. My sisters, Savannah and Leilani are in Houston.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have a sister, and that's it.
Yeah.
A sister. I'm sorry, and then my dad. When my parents split up as well, so I have 2 step siblings, but I very rarely see them. So.
Step siblings are interesting in that they can feel like real siblings, or they can feel like step siblings, and then like it really depends on how the family goes.
It's very much I see them on Christmas, and I see one of them on Christmas. Yeah, and then that's it. So
yeah, Whereas the family that I was raised with is the one that feels the closest. But meeting Like I met some of my family on that side way later in life, and like the first time we all kind of sat down together in a long time was a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
we sat down and it was kind of like weird for a bit, and then like we all just started talking about things and realized that we're all into the same stuff. We all
Oh,
like the
that's good.
same things. We have the same interests, and we're like all remarkably similar. So, um, you know, it was fun times and no time at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will credit, even though I'm not close with my step siblings, I will credit my stepsister for getting me into anime. She got me a stack of like Naruto DVDs and was like, here, just watch this. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Put them in my poopy little laptop at the time. And I was like, this is amazing. How have I not watched more of this? And that just, from there on.
Yeah, you're just running around like this.
Yeah,
After that,
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
like, there's only one way to run.
And
Arms back.
yeah. Naruto run. Believe it.
Oh, that's funny.
So bad.
Yeah. God, it's funny because you and I, like, you've chatted about anime a lot, and I don't watch a lot of anime anymore.
Oh,
I it's something I liked a lot more when I was younger, and I kind of just fell out of it. I feel like for me, a lot of it peaked. Oh, I can hear Faith.
Oh yeah. Someone's at the door.
But like this makes me feel old now. But I think back to the year that like both Cowboy Bebop and Trigun were on the air at the same time,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel like a lot of animes have been that good since, or at all. Um, you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are like the golden oldies, right? That's
yeah.
those ones. Are
Although
hard
you
to
calling them
beat.
oldies makes me feel old too.
Those ones set the standard for what everything comes afterwards.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
kind of like what Sword Art Online did for like the whole like going to another world like genre. It just kind of like made it boom even more. Now it's like there's like 3 or 4 different ones per season to come out.
hmm
Each a little bit different. The last like, oh, I brought my smartphone. Oh, I'm a virus. So I turned into a spider. It's just so many different
yeah.
variations of it now.
No, it's true. It tends to be there's somebody who paves the way in some specific way with a show, and then like
Yeah.
there's always tons of imitation if it's popular, especially with anime. Um, and there's a lot of tropes specific to anime that are extraordinarily common across nearly every single show, and that's not a good or a bad thing. It's just it's the stuff that you expect to see.
There was like a screenshot of like people in an audience, and it's like pointing out the main character, and it's like the dude has like crazy spiked, different color, multicolored hair, like a scarf, sitting all like all grumpy, like you're like, oh, found the main character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star was good too. Yeah. I think I like really cerebral anime a lot of the time, so I'm just reading chat, and I really really enjoyed the second season of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Oh yeah,
Because it's the only one that has character development all season long. Like it's all about everybody in the squad, and you start
Yeah.
you learning more and trying to understand who Motoko Kusanagi is and all that stuff. And it was really interesting, and it was a great season. And then the first season before it was a little dry and slow, and they've done a bunch of smaller and different things since. I haven't watched the new one that's on Netflix. That's all 3D cell shaded because I'm usually not a fan of that.
yeah. I haven't watched. I'm a little ashamed to say I don't think I've watched Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, or any of those like
Oh no!
old big oldie shows. No.
Oh man, they are. You know how when you watch movies now, like you go to the theater, you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch, I don't know, Captain America: The First Avenger, or whatever it is you end up going to see. I don't know why I picked that one, but like you go to see a Marvel movie. If that is what modern anime is like, watching something like Trigun or Cowboy Bebop really is like watching a Sergio Leone Western in comparison. Like it's a whole different era and style and technique and the way that the animation is done. It's all hand drawn, and there's a lot of, especially in the case of both Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, there's a lot of it's very heavily Western influenced, like both Western culture and Westerns. Trigun, obviously and especially. So you're seeing all of it through a Japanese cultural lens, anyways, which makes it even more interesting. And yeah, just great stuff, great shows. Can't recommend them enough.
Yeah.
I see somebody typing
Radio
about
Tom
Akira.
was saying Akira.
Akira was good. I saw
Such
that.
a phenomenal movie.
God, I saw that like 30 some odd years ago now. That was a long time ago.
Go and watch it again.
It's still it's still good. It's still weird. It's the most bizarre thing about it I find now is that a lot of the ideas in it, like they're pretty mainstream now. You know, everything about government conspiracies and all the stuff that's like the hallmarks of that film.
Yeah.
Like that film did those things first.
Yeah.
But now they're mainstream ideas. So, yeah.
I gotta go back and watch it now. Jeez, maybe we'll do that this weekend. Can't
That's
do
good.
it Critical Role today.
The coolest thing by far, the coolest bit of trivia I can think about for Akira is that drawing lighting in anime has always been a very taxing and difficult thing to do. Like even Miyazaki films tend to limit that as much as they possibly can, and like cell shaded stuff can just do it because they just like flick some filters on. I know it's more difficult than that, and I don't mean to devalue the work of animators, but like it's different than needing to draw every single frame of it, and Akira did. So the lighting in it is incredible, especially for a hand drawn anime. So, you know, like doors open and like the light slowly creeps up somebody's face, and like you see all the. It's just, man, the amount of work that went into it.
There are definitely some animation studios out there that just do animation a step above everybody else.
Yeah, it's like the first season of One Punch Man versus the second season of One Punch Man.
Oh God, so bad. That was so hurtful to watch that second season.
I liked it, but it was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it definitely when you compare that to the first, it just you look like you want to throw it in the garbage can. You're like, what did you do? Like they set up a perfect set up for you for the animation, the quality you could have put into it, and then they just.
Well, but there's more to that, right? Like, never mind that they changed studios. I guess what happened was with the first season, because it's what's the name of that studio? I'm having a blank right now, but they're let's just say that they were a very good and well-known studio. The person who was directing the series, who was the art director for it, is one of those legends of animation who people will work for them for free just to work with them.
Yeah,
and that was the case with the first season of One Punch Man. It was a whole lot of extra labor. And basically pushing themselves much harder to accomplish something as awesome as possible. And obviously it shows, like the fight against the last dude was mind-blowingly awesome. But
yeah, actually it was the first studio was Madhouse. They're known for doing good, and then they swapped it to JC staff, and it just.
They're not bad. It's just it's trying to maintain a standard that's different.
Yeah.
There are still lots of cool moments in the second season, and
totally.
Narratively, I think it was the right idea to make the show about everybody other than the most powerful being in existence, because like he's not that interesting, which is part of the joke. But every other character is more interesting. But also the whole time
he's meant to be super one-dimensional.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a superhero, but he can one-punch everything.
Yeah, easily bored. Nothing satisfies him.
Yeah. All those those videos are around like, oh, could One Punch Man beat Goku? Could beat Superman? It's like he could beat them in one punch, because that is
the point.
Joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke of his character.
Yeah, the joke is that the first season ends with him, spoiler, fighting somebody who's like conquered the stars and like can't find anything to fight, who's like prophesized to be able to find somebody to fight, and he fights him for a while, but like he hits him with Serious Punch and destroys him. And the guy's like,
Serious Punch.
You were holding, it's something Serious Punch.
Yeah,
and he hits him, and then it's just like the guy's like dying, and he's just like, you held back, didn't you? And he's like, doesn't say anything. He's like, I hate you for that. He's like so mad that he held back, but he's just like, it's deflating. Well, that was the point. It was great. Somebody's like, wait, there's a second season of One Punch Man? Yes, if you were in America, it was on Hulu.
Yeah.
I started watching it when I was last in Hawaii with my siblings. We were watching it. Yeah, it was great. Honestly, I'm more mad that they changed the theme song than I am that the animation was different. Because I love the first theme song. It was perfect.
It's so like that first theme song was so in your face. Yeah. And it very, very fit very well.
Yeah. I was in Hawaii and didn't tell you. Yeah, sorry. When I was last in Hawaii, it was for my honeymoon. So I saw family and spent time with my wife.
Yeah. Not really meeting players at that point.
No. I mean, certainly if cons were such a thing, it would have been cool to stop by one and like meet some people.
I miss Gen Con, man. I want to go back to that so bad.
You and a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody that you talk to who does any parts of the con circuit, like either they work in it or they participate in it, you know, they speak about all the events in different ways and the things that they don't like and don't like. But like Gen Con is pretty universally a favorite, where people are like, yeah, that's where I go, even if they've even if they've been working 16 hours a day for months doing the con circuit, they're like, that's the one I go, and then I stay up an extra 4 or 5 hours playing new board games with friends, every night, and like that's just not something that they get to do elsewhere. So
yeah. I actually haven't had a chance to sit down and actually play like an RPG or anything there, like in the board game rooms, because Nevada and I are just so busy running around the dealer's hall because it takes so long to go through and see everything, and then like find something to maybe like sign up for to play test or try it out before you buy it. It's just it's like a whole weekend spent just like going up and down each aisle, figuring out what's there.
Oops, I hit the wrong button there. That's the one I was looking for. No, go away.
Sure, chuck it outside. It's not fun right now.
There we go.
How dare they?
Yeah, I was just trying to fix something on this screen, and I'm like, God darn it! Yeah, do the thing I want. Yeah, I'm also waiting to see will this camera turn off on me?
Is the fan hooked up there now?
No, it's great actually. The fan is the best part because this room it gets goes through like hot and cold spells, but the fan is this nice breeze right now, so I'm digging it. And I've been messing with the color because when you chroma key out a green screen, you're not just sucking the green out of the green background, you're sucking pigment out of stuff. And so I was in the camera settings trying to compensate for that by adjusting the color palette for me to kind of substitute that green in. Basically trying to get the camera to set to the wrong settings so that when it pulls the green out, it looks right. While also having the correct white balance and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Camera stuff. It's fun.
Sometimes I'll come in that room and like turn the camera on, and it's just like I'm just like completely either super duper pale or like incredibly red. I'm like, whoa, there's no middle ground. And then I gotta play through my settings. And
yeah, I mean, part of it is the light on your skin. Part of it is the different colors around you bouncing off it. Part of it's the like there's only so much you can do accommodating for the white balance. Like there's a reason that television shows and feature films, when they film in front of green screen, they spend tons and tons of money doing color correction. Afterwards, because like there's you can see the green around my neck and around my skin a little bit more than some other parts of me, and like whenever the reflective parts of the headphones kind of catch the green, they disappear a little bit. But yeah, they digital touch up is a huge part of it.
Yeah, trying that cube head the first time without turning the chroma key off is pretty funny. It was just like there was like something translucent in front of my face as I was moving it around.
Yeah, which is kind of how it should look for a gelatinous cube, right? Like they're invisible. Even though in every key art that's ever been done, they're like green or blue. Yeah,
because the dungeon's dark, man.
Yeah, but also, I mean, obviously you need to see something in key art. I always just kind of hand waved it as it has a color when it's digesting something. That's it.
Yeah, it's red. It's just the blood like spilling out.
Yeah. Actually, on that note, I turned one of my players as part ooze in my Descent into Avernus campaign.
Part ooze?
Yeah.
What did they do?
They were gifted a weapon by their patron that bound their soul more fully to them, and their patron is Zargon the Returner. Is a bit of a deep cut Forgotten Realms, but Zargon the Returner is alleged to have been a Lord of the Nine Hells or the Lord of the Nine Hells before Asmodeus. It's unknown whether Zargon was a demon or a devil, but it was like this massive entity with one eye, crazy huge horn, and like
tentacles,
whole bunch of tentacles with hooks on them for arms.
I pulled them up, and he's ugly.
Yeah. And she plays a changeling, but like when she shifts from one form to another, I describe it as she can see the lines, the tentacles squirm underneath her skin, because like she's physically very much like him. But anyways, I had her in a moment of just fun, also messing with my player. Her head kind of like split open and this like horn grow out of it that ended up being the spear that is her weapon. But it like she is so thoroughly bound to her patron that like she is part slime. So her blood is no longer blood. It's like this sort of really thick, viscous, amber-colored jelly.
You.
Yeah. Anyways, things that affect oozes now affect her, and it hasn't really come up in gameplay, but it will.
What does affect ooze? Is it just the weaknesses or the bonuses, like the resistance?
Well, things that you could do to. Well, I haven't gotten into it too much, but there are things that bug oozes more than other things, and when she comes across them, they will bug her too. Yeah, but she also gets benefits and stuff from it. She's highly resistant to acid and poison.
Oh yeah.
Because of it, and will eventually, depending on how long this game goes and how deep she gets in with her patron, she'll eventually be immune to those two types of damage. But we'll get there.
Yeah. Our last session last week, we got 2 players got Mummy Rot. They got it cured pretty quick.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that one sucks.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I was expecting us to go through the plot a lot more. We spent like 3 hours shopping instead. So
oh god, yeah. I hate shopping sessions with players.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's their first shopping time since they were in Baldur's Gate, which for us was like months ago.
Yeah.
So they realized they didn't have a lot of money, but they had a lot of items to trade. So it's just like, I want to. What does he have? Okay, here's a list. Tell me what you're gonna sell, and I'll give you prices. And just a bunch of hours doing that, and we're like, all right, it's like midnight. We're gonna call it. If you want to purchase anything else, here's the list. Just tell me on next time we play, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I usually get them to roll to see what their barter skills are like, and then depending on that, I'll tell them how many cents to the dollar they're getting on stuff. And like, this is the markup at this place, kind of thing, and I just want to get it done fast, but it's always so slow. It always takes like a session.
Oh yeah. Like, well, what works best for you? And they try to like plan everybody out. Our fighter just got adamantium armor, so now critical hits just don't hurt him extra. He just takes normal damage.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah, my players are all very. They're in the Descendant of Avernus campaign. They're all level 8, and they're not far from a milestone where they could get to level 9. And it's kind of like they've reached the point where like player characters start to become very, very resilient to dying.
Yes.
Like it's hard to get them to even fail saves, let alone, die in combat. And you don't want to overstack things against them either.
Yeah, that's funny because my players are level 9. So we're probably actually in like roughly the same area because they just got to the crypt. And now they're leaving from there.
Okay, my players detoured far. They're not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just to the crypt. They're just kind of going off to do some other stuff right now. They found the Wandering Emporium. So
yeah, my players just reached the Wandering Emporium, but they haven't done any of the other major parts of the journey yet. I sent them in that direction before some other directions that they could have gone in. Plus, I laid down a whole bunch of potential interesting things and distractions for them, and they did it.
Yeah.
So that was many sessions of, diving into the tomb of this, dead/not dead former god of necromancy and some other stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, my party's very much been like that. Like if I'm like they're driving somewhere in their machine and I point on something, they go whoop and just head toward like immediately, even if they're on their way to something.
Yeah. No, the last session the last 2 sessions they were on a train that was on an exploding bridge, and they had, because of the speed they were going at, and they were in the last car, working out to about 30 seconds before they'd go off the cliff. They had 5 rounds before they could to figure out what they were going to do before it went off the edge. And
but can you bust out like when they do critical role, they bust out like the hourglass clock and just put it down in front, like you have that time.
Yeah.
Like, just
no, I gave them combat rounds. I made them roll initiative for it because they didn't even have their equipment on, so they had to like grab their equipment, and then they had 3 potential exits, the obvious exits from the vehicle, like the last car, and they spent their time mucking with one of them, and then gave up on it and went to the other more obvious door and just to break their way out. And it was, it was literally when the last player went for the last time, it was like they'd all tied ropes around each other, and the last player was like had cast fly on themselves and like pulled them out of the train car as it goes off the edge. But yeah, they ended up getting
that's such a tight timeline. Ooh.
Yeah, they got it. They got a like a hidden door open, but it went to this black void. And they're like they didn't trust it, so they went to the other door.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun. We haven't answered any questions.
There's been a couple. There's only been a couple.
Yeah, yeah. Can we get Boo Riding Wolf as a slot 7 champion? Yeah. Is that a Calliope skin? Also something new. That is a pirate Calliope. I can't remember. Do you remember what event it was from?
No, I don't. Off the top of my head, no. It's a pirate champion.
Or not pirate, champion. Sorry.
Yeah. Champion Calliope. Yeah, I don't remember where that's from.
I don't remember what anymore either. So I'm sorry I can't be more help, but it was it's from
I'm sure one of the hive mind knows. So
yeah.
I can't think of the top of my head.
Yeah. And yes, I know somebody saw and guessed, but this is a skin coming for Averin.
Oh, Pirates via Gems? I guess now it is, but where was it from beforehand?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was from.
It would have been a gift. Was it the?
I think it's from like it might have been. Was it the 2nd anniversary celebration or like one of the other anniversary things?
I think it was the 3rd anniversary.
No, 3rd anniversary was Icewind Dale Tyrrell.
No, what was the one before that? We did the spring, where like the Modron release.
Summer? Oh, maybe it was there.
I think it was the Modron release one we did Pirate Calliope.
Yeah. What is the name of Averin skin?
Looks so good.
Yeah, it's Artificer Averin.
Ooh.
Hey, and it's spelled correctly. There's somebody accidentally put an Artificer in the back end data at one point, but it got fixed. Yeah. Anyways, coming soon. Keen eyes would have noticed that we teased that in a comic recently. Averin was standing in line wearing that setup.
Which was it? The Esmeralda comic?
It was the 2nd Esmeralda comic, because the first one was her stealing Boo's line, saying "Go for the eyes," Minsk's line, and Minsk's like, huh, like just has this like shocked expression as she says it, and then the other one was them in the cloak check at the tavern from Liar's Night, handing their magic items over to a masked man who was subsequently sliding them into a handy haversack.
That was a good one. I did like that one.
Yeah. I'm very happy with the one that's coming out later this week, although I'm not as sure exactly when it's coming out. And then the next two I like actually quite a lot. We're not usually this far ahead on like planning them out and getting the line work done and stuff, but next week's is already well underway, and the one after that is already planned out, so pretty excited.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they're good jokes, but I don't know. I'll let the players tell me whether or not
Do you come up with the jokes,
or
does Luke come up with the jokes?
I work with Luke on it. It's a collaboration. He does all the art, so I lean towards giving him as much of the credit as possible. But a number of these came from ideas that I'd had. Yeah.
Cool.
But he does the real work. So like it lives and dies by the quality of work that he does.
Oh yeah. His comics are really good.
Yeah, the composition and the colors in some of the more recent ones are awesome.
He also does the D&D Beyond ones too, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what the release cadence is for those ones though, because I never know when I'm going to see one. Yeah. And I'm sure they have an established cadence. I just haven't figured out what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of D&D Beyond, hi Lauren.
Hi Lauren. We were just talking about how awesome of an artist Luke is.
Yeah. He's a wizard.
Yeah. Alrighty, regarding the walnut/take-this/wisdom save weekend, I signed up, but how does Idle Champions know I signed up in order to email me the code? Can you explain it, please? Thank you. Do you know that? Because I didn't set any of that promotion up, and I haven't got the slides.
I think a lot of that's through the Take This. I did see Quick Mythos saying that when you sign up for it, and then you get approved by the DM will email you the code.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's
I want to double check
that
something.
Part is like. I think we gave them the codes, and they deal with all the distribution part of it, right? So.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is that, there have been some somewhat mixed messaging on how it works, and so as part of trying to make it a little easier for everybody to understand, we are doing a blog post explaining the step-by-step.
Oh, perfect.
That I thought was going to come out today, but maybe I'll poke Margaret about it after the stream to make sure that it comes out sooner. Certainly before the weekend. Already.
I'm not from the DM. I got 2 separate emails once the session was approved. Oh, okay.
Huh.
So you sign up, you get approved. I probably get an email saying, "Hey, you're approved," and then an email saying, "Here's your code."
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Question. Time potions are supposed to be working, but not speed potions. Players are reporting going faster than one area a minute, still slower than the foreground, but it seems that speed is working in the background. However, timers seem to... I wonder if this is intended all or known. Yeah, we're pretty aware of the inconsistencies in offline progress and background progress calculation, especially when it comes to things like potions and speed champions. The intent is that only the epic potions work.
Yeah, time potions should not be working in the offline.
Yeah, and then you should not be able to like log off for less than a minute and log back on and make multiple minutes worth of progress. So there's a number of things we're investigating related to that. Yeah, the best thing I can suggest, quick to thrill, is, submit a ticket and list out what you see, and double check the list.
Yeah, so from my knowledge, it should be anything epic potions, everything besides speed. Every epic potion besides speed should work in the background, and anything speed related does not work in the background because it's set at that fixed rate.
Mm-hmm. Will the Avon skin be gems, patron currency, or money? That is a great question that I can't answer yet. All I can say is that it's coming soon. Yeah. And similar to the somebody asking about whether or not there are going to be sales for Black Friday. We can't actually talk about sales information on any platforms in advance. There's a whole bunch of reasons behind the scenes, but the TLDR is that it is part of the license agreement for existing on said platforms. When they give you sales information, it's confidential. And so, the only thing I can say about sales is, if you look back to what we have done traditionally in the past across platforms, we don't tend to deviate from that very much.
Yeah. Like what Kelvin says, NDAs for days. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah.
Each walled garden, as they call them, has its own wall of NDAs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Hi, Dylan and Shawn. Moving forward, can we expect more rapid adjustments to heroes for balancing? Heroes that are overpowered, Zorba and Krull, have been for a long time, while weak characters, Black Viper and Xander, have been barely usable for just as long. Additionally, some heroes have launched in rather weak states. Is making hero adjustments at a faster pace a priority to allow for more build diversity? In short, yes, it is. We made a very deliberate and conscious decision to pivot away from champion balancing towards quality of life fixes and bug fixes and refining Modron automation late summer, and we are still kind of in that state. There's a lot of stuff to fix and work on. That isn't to say that we won't be doing any more champion balance updates or that it isn't on our calendar anymore. It just got shuffled around. So what I can say is that if you have questions related to specific champion balance or specific champions, and you want, someone like Justin who can definitively answer things, and when we do our Extra Life this year, which will be coming up sometime in the next couple of weeks, I forget the exact day, but there will be a blog post and an announcement on it.
What's it?
Yeah. Don't spoil it, just in case things change, Shawn.
That's true. I know the date, but I'm not so
But as part of Extra Life each year, David and Justin sit down and do a founders Q&A and a /developer stream. And those kinds of questions are perfect for them because ultimately the only person on our end who handles things like champion balance specifically is Justin. Justin's skill set is in much demand behind the scenes here, not just for champion balancing, but for other things as well. But we hear you. Over the last few weeks, Shawn, Erica, Margaret, and myself have been collecting more information about champion balancing and passing it along to the team into more condensed lists, I guess, of things. Yeah. And what they end up doing with that, I don't know yet. But it is something that is very much on our minds. How is the large number update coming? I mean, it'll come when it comes.
Yeah, I think David said it was almost done.
Yeah, big numbers are big. The numbers are so ridiculous that it's actually hard to wrap your head around it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So that's an incremental numbers game, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until
forever,
you're in
yeah.
a theoretical number space where,
Oh yeah, the heat
yeah.
death of the universe will come before we reach the end of the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. Take a little bit of water. Um, I have an unboxing I'm going to do in like 20, 25 minutes after I let Shawn go.
Wait for me to leave. You saved me some. I want little cube boxes for tomorrow.
Well, so it's tricky because unboxing isn't really something that you can easily do on your show.
Yeah.
Because your show has a very specific focus, and
I'll
much
cut
of the
out Lee.
screen is taken up by one thing.
I'll cut out Lee. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry, Lee. He'll understand.
We'll just swap the cameras, so he'll be the little box for a little bit, then I'll be
Yeah,
the big
tiny
box.
cameras.
Yeah.
Hey,
Tiny pancakes.
yeah, you want to put the time in and set all that stuff up to switch back and forth? Go for it. But yeah, we upgraded our camera setup on this end, and not to cut Shawn out, but like it is much, much, much higher resolution than it used to be. You can see where I didn't quite shave. You can see where Dylan ran out of shaving cream. You can see the grains in my hat now. I can on my end, but I guess whatever output resolution it's coming to might not do that. But anyways, but the good thing is that like unlike previous unboxings where there are either multiple cameras or difficulty focusing and showing different things, this will be real clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
showing
People are
that.
talking about Briv not jumping. If you have less than 50 stacks, Briv will not jump. You need 50 or more. So if you're at 48, you gotta stack them up.
Yeah,
Just wanna get that out there.
yeah. Also, we really made Briv good.
He's really good now.
He's at like the only thing he doesn't do is gold find, right? Like he's a tank
he's not-
support speed champion who can heal the entire formation,
Yeah, like his healing's not the best, but it does pretty well.
but it's there.
Yeah, exactly. Better than Regis's healing. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, he skips areas. He gets Nova's brains now when you skip.
We got that done. Yes.
Yeah, that was updated. Yeah. So
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was challenging about Nova. Yeah.
Yeah.
Briv comes from the Festival of Fools event, which is March, April, around some. No, it'll be in March. Yeah, it was in March, and it will be in March again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brief does 5 million a ton of chests. Yeah. Just does gold find that way. Yeah. Just skip everything, get a bunch of chests.
Yeah. Who is that above Korth? Oh, that's Averin. Don't you recognize him? See?
He's a mighty Morphin Even Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a magic coin here.
Does he shoot that coin at people instead of the dagger?
I think he just kind of like Eldritch Blasts or something, doesn't he? Let's see. What do we got? Follow-up question from a few weeks ago. Any idea as to how the wild offers were changed? Players seem to be often questioning the reasoning behind some of the decisions, like RNG not allowing the getting a shiny. Would it be possible for someone to maybe explain what we should expect from this system? It actually isn't something that I can at all get into.
Yeah, I actually have no idea either. So
Yeah, and it's not for a lack of wanting to talk about it. It's that I do not have visibility into how it works. So I can't talk to anything specific on it. And that's a good one. I'm going to flag that for the
people who do know about
for a dev Q&A, because the only thing I know is that the system itself is constantly being iterated on, and that the iterations are data driven. We have somebody with a doctorate in computer science who handles our analytics and looks at that data. So, I'm sure that part is being done correctly. But as for why things show up the way that they show up, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I know that the system it tries to create deals that are appealing to individual players. It's unique to every account, every person whose screen it shows up on. If you have multiple platform accounts, like you play on CNE Games and on Steam, you'll get different offers on each one. And it's also Yeah, Dave wouldn't have dove into that one because he didn't. I don't think that he worked on it. um, yeah, it's very specific. So I'm just making a note on it so that hopefully they, if they have time, they can come to the table with something about that topic for the next dev Q&A. Because yeah, I hear you. Alrighty. Slick Shot 007. Hi Dylan, I'm having a blast as a new player and I'm mostly interested in the story text for adventures. One of my issues is with the size of text on screen, feels like 6 points. Do you get requests for more options to let players make the text larger for the scripted dialogue or especially on the journal screen? iPad has no UI scale. On Steam, even at 125, I feel like I need to use a program like Zoom It to temporarily. Okay. I will pass that feedback along. I think that's the first time somebody's actually mentioned that to me.
Yeah, that's the same here.
That would be a...
I think you're right on that one.
I'm probably right on who I'm sending that to. So I'm trying to think of if there's any modern animes I liked, aside from the Castlevania series, which was way better than it had any right to be so far.
I've actually pretty much stayed away from the Netflix ones. I don't know why. They haven't like piqued my interest. So
I started watching Blood of Zeus, which is like their like retelling of a Greek mythology thing, and like
hated it.
I'm not blown away by it. Like it's entertaining enough, but I wouldn't describe it as good.
We watched 3 episodes or something, and just their choice for music in every single setting was just like
it's cliches. It's one cliche after another.
Yeah,
there was a Henry Cavill movie where he played one of Zeus's many sons because that dude got around.
Yeah,
and I can't remember the name of the movie, but Mickey Rourke was the bad guy. I'm just trying to look it up right now. What was that movie called? Immortals, where he played Theseus. And like parts of that movie I actually really enjoyed. Mickey Rourke is a cool actor, but it just kind of reminded me of how much Greek mythology is just like gods being petty with each other and like illegitimate godchildren. Like those are the only kinds of stories they can tell. And so yeah, it's like I would describe it as bland. However, Netflix adapted Castlevania, specifically Castlevania 3, the NES game, to make into an anime, which I was not sold on. And I watched the first season, and I'm like, this is okay. Like, it wasn't amazing, but I appreciated the attempts to merge both the mythology, specifically of Castlevania and Castlevania 3, with, at least some grounded European history. Like they're in Wallachia, not Romania, because there was no Romania in that era, right? Stuff like that. So that, is interesting. And Warren Ellis, the writer, is one of my favorite graphic novel comic writers of all time. Like, really just Transmetropolitan. If you've never read that, you should. It is a masterpiece. Transmetropolitan is incredible. My only regret is I don't own it because I borrowed it all to read it, and now I kind of want to buy it. It's that good. But anyways, Warren Ellis wrote it. And then the second season ended up being seriously incredible. Way, way better than it had any right to be. And you're like, oh, this might be actually the best video game adaptation there has been. Not that that's a high bar, because it's not.
Even the Mario movie was really good.
I really enjoy the Mario movie, but it's bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
I enjoy watching it every time.
Yeah. But the Castlevania one, it's super good. It's true to the characters. And there's a scene in the beginning of like the 7th or 8th episode of the second season where they so perfectly capture everything that has made the Castlevania series a great series of games. And it's so tonally perfect and it is so satisfying to watch that the entire series up to that point was worth watching just for that one scene.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then season 3 is like they've also started expanding the mythology and including like the handheld Castlevania games and other Castlevanias. Like there's even a part where you see like a Belmont vault and there's a painting on it, and it's the painting of the Belmont that was in Lament of Innocence. And it's just like it's pulling it all together. So like now I'm like eagerly awaiting more. It's a bit of a bleak, a slow burn a lot of the time, but I think it's good. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's horrifically violent.
Oh yeah,
Even for an anime, you're like, damn.
yeah. I am eagerly waiting for when it's a stupid show called Way of the House Husband comes on Netflix. So I want to watch that one.
I've never heard of it. What is it?
It's about a guy who like the biggest name in the Yakuza who quit and got married.
Yeah.
Now he just takes care of the house, and he's like super into like baking, sewing, like cleaning. Goes and meets all of like the other moms around the area.
What?
It's like the contrast is so funny. And like they'll like, oh hey man, you got the powder, and he'll put like a bag of like flour and like let's go, and they'll be like baking and stuff together. It's so funny.
Is it an anime or a live action show?
It'll be an anime coming out.
Huh.
Yeah,
I'm interested. Yeah.
it is so, like, the manga. I've read the manga for a while. It's super funny. So I'm excited to see like it being animated, because if they do the voices properly, then it's gonna be good.
Huh.
It's called Way of the House Husband.
Yeah, I mean, anime voice acting is super hit and miss. I
Yeah.
find, like for every show like Standalone Complex, where every voice actor in both English and Japanese is phenomenal, you have many, many, many shows where the Japanese audio is usually pretty darn good, but the English dubs can vary pretty wildly.
Yeah, I actually refuse to listen to anything dubbed. I can't do it.
Some shows are good. I really, really like the voices for the English voices for Standalone Complex, but I don't know. Wait, not Standalone Complex. I'm thinking of the wrong show. The Japanese ones. Sorry, I can't listen to them in English. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was great in English.
Yes. Oh yeah, I can bet. I can bet that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brotherhood was just a good show altogether too.
It was a complete story. No complaints. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ended, and when it's over, you're like, not only is it over, not only did it wrap everything up in a way that satisfied you, you enjoyed the journey that much more. Like any show that can have their climactic moments and then have multiple episodes after it of just narrative resolution is just great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually that's a neat comparison between like the original Full Metal Alchemist that came out, because they like caught up to the manga and was like, well, let's just do what we want.
The manga wasn't done yet, though. It's part of the reason it was such a mess. They didn't know what they needed to keep in order for the story to work, unlike the second series. Whereas like the manga was done, they're like, okay, we know what we need to keep in order to make a really tight series, and it really benefited from having a second effort. I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because Eric suggested it, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You ever play the Full Metal Alchemist games on PS2?
No.
They're okay.
Oh wow, you really sold them.
Like, yeah, you could, I remember like being like you can like transmute some stuff around. You like create like spears and weapons, and
that's cool.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, let's see. What do we got for questions? Sorry, I'm new to the game and all of this, so sorry if this isn't appropriate or hasn't already been answered. But are there any new champions coming, specifically Tieflings, support/healing? Hashtag Team Farida. There's a new champion coming next week with the next event. Our champions tend to come out every 3 weeks ish. There was a number of gaps this year as we try to make up for being too consistent last year, which meant that we'd like shifted our entire calendar slightly over a few weeks, and so we had a number of double update weeks back to back instead of going update event. But yeah, next week there is an event coming. I believe it's Feast of the Moon next, and that will include a really, really, really fun champion that I'm eager to start talking about. But I'm not going to talk any more about it or spoil anything because Shawn and Lee get to reveal that tomorrow.
It's on the list for tomorrow.
Yeah. And then there are 3 or 4 more champions coming this year. 3, 4, at least 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, it's November. I think it's 3 more before the end of the calendar year.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I was late today and I just noticed the hidden code. What did Shawn rescue? Me. Shawn rescued me.
I forgot my cape though. Kind of fly in.
When can we expect the next evil champion? The final event of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's a goodie.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen the development on that one a little bit. They look pretty cool.
Yeah. Will Zorbu ever have competition from a DPS standpoint? Torgar had a real shot at it, but him not benefiting from his own powers like Zorbu does kind of shot him in the foot before he even got started. Yeah. I mean, that kind of speaks to the champion balance conversation that we were having earlier. Yeah. No king reigns forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, although one of the upcoming comics is a joke about Zorbu. Shawn, has Dylan already sent the art files for pancakes tomorrow? Yes.
I don't know. I don't check my email. So.
You fool. Well, I sent it on our company chat too.
I know. I saw
it's in two places. Yeah. Because Lee will email me every day. I don't send them to him.
Yeah.
I had to tell him to stop. I'm like, dude, I will send it. I have other things I do as well.
He's just very excited to get the pancakes.
No, but also he's got to prep colors and stuff. So like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's more.
He has them on Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday at the absolute latest. It's okay. But
some weeks I am busier than others, and this week in particular, I spent 2 full days in Photoshop getting promotional assets and stuff ready. And it wasn't until the very end of that I sent him his images at the end of the day yesterday. So
yeah.
And he didn't follow up to say he got them, but I sent them.
Yeah, we have them. We both really appreciate the little quips you put in for each of the things. Each like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You do read your emails, okay?
I'll read those out too. Like, what is this champ? Like, what is this monster? And I'll write your little quip that you put in.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's me just being a smartass. Other times it's me taking stuff from the actual lore.
There was the one from last week. I think you put in there as like if you don't worry about getting this one. I started reading that out, realizing that part was for me. I was like, oh, I stopped like halfway through. I'm like, wait, that's my part.
Alrighty. Enjoyed the 3 kobolds splitting into 3 sprites. Will we ever get multiple sprites then combined into one big, really annoying to kill one? Oh, we will now that you've read that. Yes.
Oh, we could do
Depuis Voltron.
We do more variants in Tomb of Annihilation. We could do different like that version of the Goblet Battery stacks where you knock them down, and after a couple seconds they just start like piling back up on each other.
Every time you knock it down, another goblin shows up, and it comes back one stack taller until it's like out of frame.
Aim for the middle. He'll knock them all over.
Let's see. What are the plans for this? This is a joke question, I'm sure. What are the plans for next gen consoles and maybe embracing 4K and bigger monitors? Would love to have my 3090 driving a screen where I can see all 12 slots. First of all, if you got a 3090, lucky you. Getting any 3000 series cards is a challenge for all humans.
Yeah.
I tweeted it out. I got through checkout with a 3080 to the point where it was supposed to authorize payment and it froze. And then it said and then it told me that it had sold the product out. Like,
oh, Starfish did get a 3090. Wow.
Yeah. Well, right on. Yeah. No need to SLI for you. You've actually got the horsepower. That's crazy. I don't know that. Well, I don't know. We've talked about 4K off and on. One of the challenges is that the way that we've built the game, the assets are they don't scale. Yeah. So if we put the game into 4K, things would get real tiny. So I don't know. I don't know that we have any plans about that I could. Certainly nothing that I can talk about. But congratulations on your. What is it? A $1,500 US card?
Oh, jeez.
What does a 3090 cost? They're not cheap. I'm not judging you. I'm a little jealous because I seriously considered trying to get one, but I have a 2080 Ti, and I'm like, I can't justify replacing this thing.
You're right. 15. That's whew.
Yeah.
That's a boy.
Yeah, that didn't stop me from trying to get a 3080 though. I wanted one of those founders editions.
Like the idea of like an ultra wide monitor, and you just see like all the monsters at once coming at you, like all 100. They can like fit before they start stacking up. It's all like
that'd be cool. You just see them in the distance.
Yeah. And
your archers like are firing shots at them.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But they're outside the range increment, right? So you can only get to them at a certain point.
The new champ is Penelope, correct? No comment. Shawn, is Lee okay with you being on another stream without him?
Well, just don't tell him, then we'll be fine. Remember, this is our little secret.
Hashtag stream cheater.
He's done it to me too. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're an open streaming relationship.
I see Garwar talking about how he's got a 1080 and he would get a 3080, but he's not sure if he'd have to update his motherboard or not. It's more likely you update your power supply than your motherboard. Depending on how many generations old your motherboard is, you may need to update it in order to have a PCI slot that can really take advantage of the 3000 series Ampere GPUs. But the bigger thing that people are running into is power supply compatibility. They use some power, the new cards. As I'm sure Starfish knows with this 3090, like the power draw on 3080s and 3090s is significant. Like I use a what do I have? I use a 750 watt right now, and I don't think I would want to use a 3080 plus with anything less than an 850 watt power supply. If I had a 3090, I would probably aim for 1,000 watts. If I thought I would ever get anywhere near full draw on that thing, because they're bonkers.
I'm actually working on upgrading my computer because it needs it now. I'm starting to feel like now that I thought about like upgrading it, it's like it's slowing down. Things are freezing all the time. Like it's time.
It is. I'm actually thinking about upgrading because I am an enthusiast gamer.
That's part of my reason too.
Yeah,
I'm running an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM. So.
Oh God, how do you live with yourself?
I don't, apparently. It was running fine for the longest time. Now it's just eating it. So it's time to upgrade.
Starfish says that they upgraded for Cyberpunk. That is fair enough.
That's a big thing too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to play modern AAA games and actually have ray tracing and the other DLSS 2.0 on, you need a 3000 series card for it. That's really it. Like I have a 2080 Ti. It can technically do ray tracing, but I'm not going to turn it on for Cyberpunk because I prefer frame rate over prettiness.
Yeah. I'm a 2060 right now, and that does me pretty well.
2060s are good.
Yeah,
they're really good cards. I think the card in this thing is a 2060. Let me double check.
Hey.
No, it's a 1060. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. All the ones we have here are 1060s, like in the personal work computers.
Well, some of the devs get nicer computers.
Yeah. Except for the artists.
A little developer privilege. They get nicer computers. I have a 4-generation old i7, so it's a 6700K with 32 gigs of DDR4.
Remember which one I was upgrading to? It was in our work chat.
Yeah, weren't you talking about it in our PCMark channel?
Yeah, I was. I don't remember. I said something about what it was going to be.
Yeah, and then you got feedback because lots of people here know.
Yeah,
you going for Ryzen?
I'm also super new when it comes to upgrading computers. So I know it was a Ryzen one I was upgrading to. The Ryzen 7 3700X.
Yeah, that's good stuff. The AMD's CPUs are really good these days. And especially over an i5, you will notice it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. And then the 32 gigs of RAM upgraded too.
I guess there's going to be because the 5000s are coming really soon, like really soon. I can't remember, sometime in the next couple of weeks, I think. And like I remember reading that Memory Express, which is a retailer in, I think they're only in Victoria and Calgary and Edmonton or something like that. Like
there are a bunch of cities
Canada, but
Canada,
they're not in the US. I don't think.
I don't think so.
Anyways, they're like, our phones will be off between this time and this time, which is the release day for the CPU, because they want you to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, they are out. Okay. Well, then, yeah, that already happened. But it's also hard to follow all the things that are happening right now.
Yeah. How much are they? Maybe let's upgrade to one of those.
They'll be a little bit more than the 430 Canadian dollars that a 3700X is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a little more. Top of the line is always more expensive. What can I say?
Yeah. I mean, I got total my other worry was if I need to buy a new case or not. The new motherboard and stuff.
Well, that really depends. There's a lot of reasons you could want a new case. Like if you have an aesthetic preference, for example, are you going to put liquid cooling stuff in there? Are you going to? Some of the newer GPUs can get really bulky, especially the 3000 series. Like they're big cards.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in chat.
And so if you have a mini ATX or something, that won't work. You will not fit one in there.
Yeah. No, mine's a normal size tower. from what I can tell.
Yeah, and then does it have a bunch of drive trays and stuff in it? Is the other thing. Because like I haven't put a drive that you can put something into my tower in, God, a long time, and so none of that stuff is there, and I have cooling stuff in all those places. But depending on the tower, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Anyways, let's see. Could you look into better scaling for the web client? I have more than enough room on a screen to view all 12 champions, but have to scroll back and forth due to the enforced resolution. I will make a note there. I don't know if that's something that we can change, Arnifix, but
I don't think that's something that we can actually like deal with at that point.
Well, I don't know enough about why it's set to the specific resolution to really comment too much on it. I know that, yeah, there's probably something that I won't be considering. I mean, in my brain, it's like change the resolution, but there could be other reasons beyond that. So
you can get mad at the web browsers themselves.
Yeah. Anyways, it's 2:00.
Oh boy, yeah, going by quick.
I know you have things to do.
Tickets to handle, tomorrow to prep for.
Yeah.
Batter to mix, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang. I appreciate you joining me, helping me to relax.
Yeah.
It's been harder to relax lately.
You have fun and unbox everything without me.
Yeah, I was thinking what might be fun for an extra live stream would be the community manager type stream where it's like you, me, Erica, Margaret, like we're just like it's just us chatting.
Yeah, I imagine like us with a round table and just like a bottle of like whiskey in the middle. Like, all right, take a shot if this happens.
You can't share a bottle anymore, Shawn.
Oh, that's true. Oh.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not sharing my expensive whiskey with anybody else. Let me tell you.
We all buy our own stuff and we take a drink if such happens.
And then I'll just put my bottle down and look down at the rest of you. You didn't spend nearly enough money on getting drunk.
I don't gotta flex so hard, Dylan. Jeez.
Anyways, some things that some of us spend our monies on.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. I will see people tomorrow for pancakes. Woo!
Yeah, pancakes. I see there's a notification there that I'm going to close. So people asking me about this this crazy armored fella here, who you may or may not know as Avrin, in a new to the game Artificer Avrin skin based on the design that he currently has for his key and promotional art for Silver and Steel. It is coming soon. That's what I will say on that topic now. But we could talk about that. Actually, I guess we can't talk about it. I already talked about it. But bad segue. I have a thing to show, which is to say I have an unboxing to show. A thing to show sounds even worse. Word, fail. So, we got a nice new camera, which... actually, it's not a brand new camera, but it's a new to the streaming room camera that we set up a couple weeks ago. So some of you may be able to see a little more detail in my hat, for example. And you could see where my shaving cream ran out and why I have all this neck fuzz and stuff right now. Yay. But the benefit is that I can show stuff like this now. This lovely box that came from the most recent Beadle and Grimm's Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden Platinum Edition. And so I have some pretty cool stuff to show that hasn't been opened yet. And let me tell you, having stuff like this sit in the office unopened is no easy feat. This is not something that people are the kind of thing people always want to open the stuff. So once I've done the stream today and all these things have been opened, I'll put it out on a table and it will get wrapped. So this first box, well, it's a box with two boxes in it, contains a number of minis. I need to cut the tape. That's one side. What's the other? So, Here's the first one. If you've ever wondered what, for example, a Goliath wear polar bear looks like, there's one. How cool is that? These are really firmly in here. Anyway, so basically every major NPC from the new book is included here. Here are the larger ones. So you got an undead frost giant, a yeti, a snowy owlbear, and I forget what those things are called. What are they? Oh, it's a frost salamander. These ones have clear bases instead of black bases, which is pretty cool. So that's one. One of these boxes. That's just the. What do you call it? The appetizer. To. Oh boy. This chunky, giant, platinum edition thing. And if you look closely, you can see that it's the Chardon dragon on the cover. This is probably weighs like 15 pounds. But it's this guy that WizKids came out with recently on the cover of it. So, actually, I'll do it like this. Oh, that is the contents, what's listed in the box, but here we have looks like the DM screen. Oh no, this is a firm playmat. Oh, it's a hard playmat. Snowy terrain and some internal structures. Got another one here. These are really, really nice quality, like laminated cardboard, I guess. And then the other one on the other side is ice. Oh, there's a whole bunch of these. Okay. So there's a lot of really nice quality playmats in this one. Yeah. So there's those. And then the next part. Oh, you see all this stuff that's still wrapped in here. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to push my mic away but turn up the volume so you can still hear me easily. Oh. So the first one of these is still wrapped in plastic, so I'm just going to... So what do we have? We have art, like key art cards with different moments. Oh, that's a spoiler of the next one, so I'm not going to show that one. Of from playing. Scene from Alien there, something ripping out of somebody. There's just tons of these. There's dozens of them. Probably encompassing many of the scenes from the book. I'm not really sure what this is, but this looks to me like a sperm whale submarine, which I realize is a bit green, so it's going to be like kind of grainy on here. But There's a ton of stuff in here. And then on the inside of these, they have information about what they are and also the artist, which is very cool. I'm always happy when they cite who the artist was for something like that. Information about 10 towns. And there's a whole bunch of just props. Notes. And I would describe this all as a paper ephemera, different documents and stuff done in different styles, different things from the book, different handouts, if you play, that are all really, really gorgeously printed and look really nice. There's dozens of these. I'm not going to go into detail on each one. I don't want to spoil every specific individual thing, because that's a little bit unfair, but there's some really, really cool stuff in here, like the Bryn Shander Bulletin, you know, the East Haven Ledger, the 20 Stones of Thrun. So it's just very, very cool, very detailed stuff that I'm sure Eric will be diving into and iterating on and adding his own props later. Cool. I don't know what this is for, but it's got this gorgeous art and painting on it, and a song about oral, I think, on it. Let's see what else we got here. An Adventurers League thing. I'm gonna hold my hand over the code so I don't accidentally give something out, but there's this in there, which I realize is actually a mostly green piece of key art, so the green on it's all being chromed out, but there's this wonderful piece on here that on the back has a list of codes for Giant's Bane Tavern, Beadle, and Grimm skins. There are 6 of them here. In theory, enough for a DM and their play group. So one of these in each Platinum box set. We will do like a trivia giveaway on social or something for these later, because obviously we don't need these codes in house. But yeah, we will do something fun to give these away later. I won't be putting that back in the box. There are really, really nice, detailed, well written out character sheets of different kinds. If you want to get like really quick into playing a campaign, there's more. There's way more art and stuff in here. Like, it's hard to really express over a stream how nice a lot of this stuff is, but like there's just tons of gorgeous, gorgeous art in here. These are actually bonus encounters. So like this piece of art is the bonus encounter, the Blood Knight, which is a 4 characters of 5th to 7th level can take place in any one of the towns of 10 towns. And then there's another one here, Burnt Ends, which looks like it's got some sort of Arctic version of a Displacer Beast. And there's just there's a bunch of those. There are maps of each of the individual towns of 10 towns. There are... Man, the art in these is so great. There's some really, really, really gorgeous stuff here. And there's a firm cardboard back at the bottom of this to keep all this stuff flat. So I'm just going to try and restack this up quickly, and then I will get to it. The The next part is the part that you come to expect in every Beadle and Grimm Platinum box set, where they have what is essentially like a spliced up version of the campaign book, which kind of allows you to, if you're focused on a specific chapter that night, you lug one fewer hardcover around and you've got a smaller piece of it. So, like chapter 1, like this book is chapter 1, but so this is split into 6 books here. And then, of course, finally, the last one. Oh, shit. There's a whole other section under here I wasn't expecting. Okay. So, next, not the last one. Next, a Beadle and Grimm DM screen that is partially chroma keyed out because of the greenish hues of what looks like the Northern Lights painted onto this, but it's gorgeous, I assure you. It's got the character guide on here, random wilderness encounters, stuff about 10 towns, stuff about Icewind Dale. And this is a really interesting detail in here that I haven't seen in one of the other ones. Is it's got the overland travel distances between each of the different towns and 10 towns. And so it tells you if you're going from Bryn Shander to Caer Dineval, it's like walking 10.5 hours, dog sled 5.5 hours, that kind of stuff. It's very cool. And then the key art on it is art of 10 towns and art of Icewind Dale, and then the last one is of art of one of the. I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to spoil what's in the story for anybody. But unfortunately, we were unlucky. We got one of the ones that's like really scuffed up right here, but it's got key art of one of the key points of interest, I'll say, in the campaign. Now we get into the like physical props section, because each of these sets has physical props. So there's this like gorgeous Chardon dragon like medallion that looks like it's kind of sharp, but like it looks great. Look at that. Each one of these has its own like little groove in the case where they sit. We have this medallion. This is great work. After I finish going through this, I'm gonna look up who did these so I can shout them out, because this stuff is great. My brain's like, it's probably Han Cholo, but you know what? I don't want to make any assumptions. They might have had help from somebody else this time. So this gorgeous pin here that has what looks like a drunken fish with antlers. Will the camera autofocus on this or not? There it is. Boom. And another medallion. Come on. Focus on this. Focus on this, you bugger. There we go. Now we got it. And this pin. And then finally, this is another staple in Beadle and Grimm's sets, is the key art monster stat cards. So, like, I know during the pandemic, a lot of us are probably playing D&D virtually through platforms like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, using D&D Beyond for our character sheets, that kind of thing. And I know personally I am using D&D Beyond also for all of my encounters right now, and if there's not a monster in there, I just make it, which is pretty easy. And I know Lauren and Todd did a video on making items at one point as well. Like, it takes some experimentation to get into it, but it's very, very cool. And so those options are all there. However, when you get to start playing in person again, one of the cool things that that Beadle and Grimm has always done is they do monster cards that have the monster page on the back of it so that they can sit on the DM screen. And so you can sit it on the DM screen, and you can easily, as the DM, be like, oh, this is what it can do. Shardell Dragon, CR11, immutable form, etc. And so all of the new monsters, there's a Yeti Tyke. There's a Demos Magen or a Demos Magen. An ancient white dragon, which hopefully you don't run into. It's CR20. And so all of those have cards. All the monsters that are unique to the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden adventure have cards here. Like, what is this? That looks like a giant suit of spiky plate mail with a great sword and a brain in a jar atop it. I don't know what it is. I guess you will have to play through Icewind Dale to figure it out. And I very much look forward to whenever our artists get around to making one. But yeah, they have them for everything that's in the Icewind Dale book. So there's different Duergar, there's different lycanthropes, there's the frosty versions of a bunch of different things. There are cult fanatics because every campaign has cult fanatics in it somewhere. Null vampires, because Nulls were already a pain in the butt, but when they're vampires, they're way worse. Anyways, there's, I don't know, 60 of these, 30. I don't know. There's a bunch of these. There's a big stack of them, and so these come in the box set as well. So, oh man, how do I get it back in though? It's so flush. It's tricky to get in here. I got it. All right. They actually, speaking to this, I know I was just talking about how tricky it is to get in, but they have made, there are grooves and handholds in this thing so that you can access stuff. Like you can see it from there. Oh, everything in its right place, which is fans of Radiohead or Order, just Order in general, you can appreciate. Alrighty. Now in reverse order, putting stuff back in. The DM screen that you can't really see. The modular version of the book. Extra encounters, character sheets, key art, maps. I'm not done yet, by the way. There's a whole other box after this to also talk about. Because they are thorough. He's a good man and thorough. All right, back to the handouts, all the key art, all that stuff. There's just tons of these. It's very cool. It's kind of nice because there's a very tactile part of playing D&D where, like, you put in a lot of work as a player or a DM, verbalizing your way through everything and describing everything, and that's really cool. Theater of the mind is a huge part of D&D, but sometimes it's really nice to feel something, in your hands. Like I know that whenever I have a map to hand out, I'm like, and here's the map. People are like, oh, map, and that's a hard feeling to recreate online. Like, yes, you can share screen and show somebody a map, but it's also very cool to be like, there is what looks like an inebriated dragonborn outside a tavern, and here is, I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like some people have found some sort of floating crystal, which doesn't at all look like it would be a dangerous thing to do. Certainly not in D&D. A whole bunch of physical hard maps, and the cool thing about these is that, like, yes, a lot of these are variants on different snowy landscapes, but on each other side there are variants of buildings that people could live in 10 towns. And so with all of these, you can make a layout, a small town layout, or an outdoor expanse, and you can keep making that map bigger by using all of these in conjunction with each other, which is super cool. There's also this deck of cards that I actually need to open to know what it is, because I don't know what it is. Got this handy X-Acto knife. Oh god, I don't want to Every once in a while, when you're opening one of these, you'll take like your knife or something, and you'll like actually cut into the hard part of a card and like start to fray the edges. So I'm just trying to avoid that. So what is this deck? This deck is not what I was expecting. Hold on, I need to look up the sheet. So they come with these sort of like master guide of everything that's in here. So, alrighty, starting off. Dear brave adventurer, to say 2020 was a difficult year is like saying summoning that Tarrasque was a minor lapse in judgment. We all dealt with levels of hardship, loss, frustration, fear, and anger that we could never have expected when the year began. But if you're reading this letter, you've made it through this far, and you have the experience points and now the treasure to show for it. The box you have in front of you almost wasn't. When the world turned upside down in March, we wondered if there would be anyone who wanted to DM a Platinum Edition of a dark and deadly adventure into the frozen north of Icewind Dale. With everything that was happening in the real world, would there be enough people willing to explore life in 10 towns and adventure boldly into the cold darkness of Oral's perpetual winter? Would Beadle and Grimm's Pandemonium warehouse even continue to exist? But like a 20th level monk, you came to our rescue. Your support has allowed us to not only deliver this Platinum Edition to your gaming table, but we've been able to create ever more magical items for DMs and players to use at tables around the world. We love creating momentous experiences for your games, and we are thrilled beyond words that we can continue to do it. You, fearless gamer, have shown us the power of perseverance and hope and brought us out from the Underdark. Now let us celebrate by singing songs of triumph and joy and divvying up the loot. With greatest love and affection, Bill, Charlie, John, Matt, and Paul. With a little caveat, we've never run a 20th level monk, but we imagine being rescued by one would be pretty damn cool. So, I probably should have read that at the very start of this, but it actually feels kind of cool reading it at the end. What is in this box? The book in 6 parts, a DM screen, campaign maps, battle maps, in-world handouts, with full lists of all the things here. Custom jewelry and artifacts. Let's see. Shardon. Oh, those are story things I'm not going to spoil. But there's a list of all the jewelry here. There's a list of all the miniatures here. Okay, so these is actually a randomized deck of encounter cards. So that's what it is. I think. Those are the bonus encounters. Those are PC. Let's see. Oh, okay. These are part of character creation for Icewind Dale. And the reason they're separated like this is so that the DM can hand them out to each player, and they have their cards that they don't have to show anybody else. So I'm not going to say what's on them, except to say that they are included in the list of other helpful game aids. That's very, very cool. And also I forgot to put them in this box, so I guess I'm pulling some stuff out to put it back in there. Super, super cool. Anyways, that is the thing most likely to fly around and get separated in there, but alas, this is where we are. One cool thing about Beadle and Grimm's is if you are somebody who because they do things like they make coins and stuff like that, or badges, like the physical props, you can order some of them through their online store. Like, so if you like, gold dragons, like the Waterdavian coins, you can order more of them online. You can have a little stash of them, like you're some sort of greedy red dragon on their horde, It's also very cool, like when you hand them out to players, like, yeah, here are your coins, on the table, that kind of stuff. So anyways, they have a little thing here about what you can order. It changes. I know that the Lulu Hollyphant stuffy was a real popular one for people to order. And they're great. They're real cool. So there's one more thing to show. They have an entire tube of maps. And they added lips to the thing, so they're easier to pull out this time. Anyways, I'm not gonna pull out and share every single one of these, but I'll get. Oh, and some scroll props in here. Wow. Whew, I'm getting high on printer ink. This thing's been tubed up since these were printed, I'm pretty sure. Oh man, that's got a strong scent. Okay. There are lots and lots of maps in here. I was going to try and pull them out, but I feel like that would actually be a somewhat delicate thing because they're so tightly bound in here. But anyways, yeah, there are tons of maps of every major location in the book. So all the full dungeon maps, that kind of stuff. It's very, very cool. So maps. Yeah, just awesome. And of course there's all these, right? Minis. Super cool. Super cool. So anyways, if you are, able to spend what I think it's 500 US on one of these, you probably want to know whether or not it's a purchase that's worthwhile. I think that it is, personally. Like if you sit at a table on a regular basis with your friends to play D&D, and you like props, obviously you have to like the contents, but you like props, you play with minis, etc. This sets you up really, really well to do that. It's very, very cool. So yeah, and it shows up in a box that's about it is huge. It shows up in a huge freaking box. So yeah, I'm not saying get every single one of these because they take up a ton of space. Like the Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus one is on one of our shelves here in the office, and it dominates that shelf because they made a big leather bound tome that's got a strap on it for it, and it's just it takes up a lot of space. It takes up some serious space. So if you got every single one, you would definitely need a major gaming room or closet or something to store them in. But they do pretty different adventures each year. One of these years, they're bound to release an adventure that really speaks to you. That sounds amazing. I really, really want to do that. Go in with your player group and get one. I know if my DM wanted to buy one, I would not hesitate to split the cost with them because you all get to enjoy it together, and that's what D&D is. It's about. It's about playing it and enjoying it together. Yeah. That's really it. So, these Idle Champions cards, I am going to... What's the best way to give these away? There are 6 codes here. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to... our social maven, our social... the person who runs all of our social media stuff, I'm going to pass it off to them. I think we will probably do trivia or something. Yeah. Combination of Twitter and channel raffles. Yeah. We'll do it away, but we'll give these away. So I didn't put this one back in the box. I'm going to, we will do a giveaway with it. Anywho, yeah, that was 35 minutes, and I didn't even look at those maps. Wow. Yeah, that was a great big heavy box for that Platinum Edition. It's a good 15-20 pounds with the whole kit. Yeah, it's like a 20-pound box maybe. It's something else. They're very cool. Is it all a physical pack, or any of the assets also included as a digital version? That's a great question. It's a it's a physical pack. However, sometimes there are additional digital elements. Let me just double check. I'm gonna just to be thorough, I'll double check the double check the list on this thing and see if there's a digital component to this that I can talk about. Oh man. Okay. So this only speaks to the contents that are actually in this box. But if you bought one through their online store. You have an account, you're signed up to their newsletter, etc. My understanding is that if there are digital components, or there were digital components, they would likely email you about it after you made the purchase. So, and that's not really the answer you're looking for, I'm sure, but it's the one I can give because I imagine, I suspect there'd be like you'd get a receipt email after ordering this thing, and any digital components would be either included in it, or they'd give you a date when they will send it to you or something like that. Yeah, it's very cool. It's thorough. I yeah, I would like to actually play this campaign at some point. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Did I mention that I'm actually getting to play D&D again for the first time in like 8 months, 9 months? We have Adam, our art director, DMs. He DM'd many campaigns in the office actually, but he started DMing for Shawn and one of our artists, Bronwyn. And it's Bronwyn's first time playing D&D. But we have capacity limits in all the rooms in the office now, right? Like the capacity for the streaming room is technically one person, as if because we want to follow the provincial guidelines for COVID-19 here. So we have these low capacity limits, which means that you can't have a 5-person party. But so we have this meeting room that has a capacity of 3, and it's like everybody's spread out. We have Adam with his DM screen there, and then Shawn and Bronwyn like far apart around the table, and then I'll Zoom call in, and yeah. Artifacts. Will the Idle Champion skin / content end up as wild offers for those of us who cannot drop $500 US? The only thing I could say about that, so speaking about these, the Giant's Bane Tavern, Beadle, and Grimm are exclusive to this box set right now. But as per our exclusivity policy, that window will eventually narrow, and it will show up either in our in-game gem shop or in our wild offer system at some point down the road. I'm not sure exactly which one yet, because the exclusivity window isn't even close to closed yet. So, but we'll get to it. Yeah, it will be accessible. Let's see. Why do people keep calling me today? Don't you know I'm streaming? Oh. Before I move into the last part of the stream, I just want to do a huge shout out and thanks to Margaret, who has taken over for me twice over the last couple of weeks. Last week, Catherine and I took our daughter to get her first ever flu shot, which during a pandemic is quite the experience in that like you have a very specific time you're supposed to show up at a place. For us, it's we have an arena here that is obviously not in use for any shows or sports, where they've taken over the entire egress to set up vaccination stations where you kind of like you're distanced apart and you go in and you talk to nurses and stuff, and you move way through the system, and then you go off to different sections to get your vaccinations. And so we did that on Wednesday last week, and while both Catherine and my daughter had no noticeable response to it at all, like I immediately got like really congealed sinuses, the way that you get when you have a strong immune response, and I was like so phlegmy that I had like this like just pounding sinus headache. And like on Thursday, I'm like, I could do the stream. I feel bad. And Margaret's like, would you like me to do for you? I'm like, yes, please do my stream. So she came in and came into the office and did the stream while I tried to help her out by getting some of some other content done for her in the meantime. And so Margaret, I very much appreciate that. Yeah, it's a time. But hey, I got the flu shot, so everybody's typing flu shot in chat now. Thanks, Sasha. Yeah. Anyways, get your flu shot if you can. If it's an easy thing. When you have an infant, flu shots are free, and your whole family has to get them. here. Anyways, I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but that's what it's like here in BC. Um, you know, if you could not get the flu, it's pretty good. I know people downplay the flu a lot, but the flu can be pretty awful. It could be a really unpleasant time. Like, yes, it does tend to, it can kill people who are elderly or immune compromised, but nobody wants to have 1 to 2 weeks where you're just absolutely wrecked. Nobody likes feeling like that. It's awful. So if you can avoid that by getting a flu shot, do so. I see Coffeenia saying that they've run out of flu shots there. Yeah, and I suspect that's going to be the case in a lot of places, because I imagine there is a demand for them this year in ways that there hasn't been in previous years. Never mind people who are, who should be getting flu shots anyways. More people are like, I would like to help reduce the spread of disease right now, and well, that's good, isn't it? Anyways, shout out to Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. You are awesome and appreciated. Yeah, I guess the other thing I'd like to kind of chat about a bit before we wrap things up. We have a fair amount of streaming content now. We have a bunch of shows, and I'm very honored to be able to, collaborate with so many really awesome people. Shout outs to the amazing Christina Ariel, Mark Meir, Havant, for Improvised Champions of the Forgotten Realms. It's a real joy to listen to the game and the dialogue be performed, because I know when we put the dialogue in the game, a lot of players, I'm sure, like have it either sped up or skip it, or they don't necessarily read it, which is fine. Do whatever you enjoy the most about the game, like, please. But it always, to us, has been something that we imagine, like, I bet this sounds great with like real actors, and like, while we aren't going to hire 60 voice actors to have very distinct individual voices for every character in our game, Mark Meir and Christina Ariel are very, very talented people, and so it's a joy to just hear them, bringing all these characters to life in different ways. So that's super cool. We're really proud of it. We love it. And the epic and awesome B-Day Walters and hilariously clever and brilliant Aaron M. Evans, along with the real joy that is Trevor Bettis doing Champions of Lore. You guys are awesome. I never get tired of listening to you talk about stuff. We have talked about making that stream longer. We're actually going to be releasing that show as a podcast starting next week. So that's pretty cool. And then we have all these other really awesome shows. Like I make music. I help facilitating the writing of music with Jason Charles Miller every Tuesday at 1. We have a new show starting on Tuesday next week. Not directed towards our Idle Champions players, but it's directed towards the players of one of our legacy games, Bushwhacker. They're the team that makes that game, that keeps it alive, is going to be hosting a show every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. starting next week. We're pretty stoked about that. I'm going to be helping them to set all that stuff up after today's show. Margaret and Satine have Evergreen Champions on Wednesdays. Two amazing people who are just fun. Mars, a storyteller Mars, on Wednesday afternoons. We have Erica and Kat doing a show for our other legacy game, Crusaders of the Lost Idols, on Thursday mornings. I am sometimes here for Thursday afternoons. We have Lee and Shawn making pancakes and talking about Critical Role on Friday mornings, and also previewing art. They actually have stuff to preview tomorrow. They don't always have things that they can show off for the first time ever in advance, but tomorrow they do. And then, of course, Garwar. I feel like you need a chanty, epic, dwarven drinking song, Garwar. Garwar does Garwar's Guide to Everything on Friday afternoons, and Garwar's Guide to something in particular on Saturday mornings. This week it is Garwar's Guide to... Just double checking because I can't remember because it changes every week. because it was difficult Strahd variants last week. So it's a guide to Dragonbait, unlocking Dragonbait, an FAQ about Dragonbait, doing the adventure. We even go so far as to uncomplete the adventures for Garwar so he can replay them as part of that show. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it's a lot of fun getting to engage with the community in this way. You guys, I mean, the heart and soul of Idle Champions. There are the players, and the developers, and it's awesome to be able to create things for you that you like, that you enjoy engaging with, and it's been a lot of fun. And there's more coming because we are currently in a socially distant watching streams instead of seeing people in person type of reality right now. So this is what's going on. We definitely have some really cool, really fun stuff planned for early next year. But yeah. Anyways. So wait, that Beadle and Grimm skin is only from the Platinum edition of that. It says it's currently sold out. Yeah, they do tend to sell out pretty quickly. It's there's a limited run on the products. So, as I said, it's something that you will these will eventually show up in either the gem store or the wild offers. I'm not sure which. And if you're really into how Beadle and Grimm does these products, I highly recommend, if you see a platinum edition of something of a setting that really appeals to you, get together with your D&D group and order it. It's super cool. Jilt with Kicker. Whoa! What is that Avron skin you have active there, Dylan? It looks super cool. It does, doesn't it? First of all, shout out to our artists. I'm not sure if it was Adam or Alexis or Bronwyn or who did this, but it looks awesome. The design was originally by Max Dunbar for Silver and Steel as part of the key art. Excuse me. And I'll give the credit to Alexis, who is the art lead for Idle Champions, our art overlord. Artificer Avron looks awesome, and it's coming soon. Artificer Avron coming soon. And it's 10:02. Is there anything you would like to ask me before I wrap up the show? I'll get some water. It's funny. For a second there, I paused to listen to see if I could hear questions, and I'm like, wait, that's not how this works. I read them. Is there a Dragonbait counter that shows me how many more variants I have to complete before I unlock him? Not so much, Duncano. You just have to keep completing the Tomb of Annihilation campaign until you get to him. It's at the very end. There are 2 champion unlocks as part of the Tomb of Annihilation campaign in its entirety. You can get Azaka Stormfang about halfway through, and Dragonbait is the cherry on top at the very, very end. So it'll take you a bit to get there, and it can still be a real challenge to unlock Dragonbait at this point, which is one of the reasons why Garwar is doing a guide to it this coming Saturday morning. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What can I say? We've talked about a lot of stuff today. We've talked about anime. We've talked about different aspects of the game. Somebody's saying in honor of Dragonbait, do a Dragonbait pancake. I think we've already done a Dragonbait pancake. It's been a challenging year and a challenging week of that year for many, I'm sure. It's life isn't always an easy thing. But let's see. Is the moose skin available as a store purchase? So the Icewind Dale Tyrrell skin was part of our 3rd anniversary. So it will eventually become available again, but it is not currently available any other way yet. Yeah, good old moose reel. Oh, I glitched him out. There we go. Now he's walking. Oh. Thank you for bearing with me. I know on some streams, like depending on who the guest is and what's going on, we can blaze through 100, 120 questions on like a really fast stream, and those always feel really productive. And I know that today we spent more time with just Shawn and I chatting, and then half an hour unboxing this beast over here, and so I've spent a lot less time chatting with you today. But do know that we appreciate you. It's yeah, you are appreciated, I guess I should say. And so kind of at the end, I'm going to start wrapping things up. It's yeah, it's Thursday, November 5th. Looks like a lot of people did vote, both in our local provincial election recently, and obviously across the United States, a lot of people voted as well. And so cheers to you for participating in your part of the process. I know a lot of people don't feel like they don't like politics, or they don't like this. They have beef with the system very justifiably for many different reasons and all those things. But like participating in it is also your way of having your voice heard and trying to make change. So shout outs to all of you for doing that. So thank you for joining me, and for joining Shawn today, for joining us, for being on twitch.tv/CNEgames. Thank you for participating in the Idle Champions community, in the D&D community, in communities in general. Like, community is a very important part of life, that something that you appreciate more the older you get. So thank you for being a part of ours, and I hope you were able to be a part of communities that matter to you, not just here but elsewhere as well. You guys are all awesome. This show exists because of a lot of really amazing people. This includes especially our producer moderator Sasha, our executive producer Erica, people who are amazing to work with, like Shawn, who stepped up to take some time out of his afternoon to hang out with me, as well as our partners at Dungeons and Dragons. We work with a lot of really cool people. A huge shout out to Shaling, who we speak with the most, but also Greg, Bart, Pelham, Allison, all these amazing people that we spent a lot of time chatting with over the years since this game came to be. So shout out to you guys. And yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a really popular show on tonight at 7 on many Twitch channels that rehost it, but also but also here on the not the CNE Games Twitch, but twitch.tv/D&D. There's a little known TRPG show called Critical Role on at 7 p.m. Yeah, just take care. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Tune in tomorrow, where Shawn and Lee make some pancakes and show off some new art, doing the first official reveal of our next champion. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.